Just like that, we're back with yet again another update on Hbar. Shout out to the Hbar family, for showing tremendous amount of love day in, day out. But, without further ado, let's take a look at what's happening with the market right now. As you can, see across the market, we are seeing tremendous amount of green right now. We are seeing Hbar making a massive, massive recovery right now. Again, a lot of people are, getting excited about this. A lot of people are, talking about, how the market is rebounding. But one thing that I always want you guys to look at it is, of course, you are going to see a little bit of a bounce eventually. Of course, you did see some, updates in regards to, the tariffs that are happening. But, let's take a closer look and really understand what's happening with HBAR's price right now and what this really tells us as we look at the future forecast. So looking across the board, we are seeing tremendous amount of green right now. But with that said, just a continuous reminder, if you're looking at it on the weekly time frame as well as over the last 1 month, you can really see how far the market is still down. But HBAR, to be specific, up 18% right now, which again is quite interesting to see, up almost at 16 cents right now at 13.7% increase in Bitcoin comparative side of things. So valuation $6.7 billion in the 24-hour trading volume is sitting at about 600 million. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So 70 countries have reached out to the President Trump to negotiate new trade deals, Treasury Secretary Besson says. So, of course, this specific announcement has had, a positive impact on the traditional market as well. A little bit of excitement coming in, a little bit of relief coming in. But in the grand scheme of things, it's to reach out to negotiate, but we haven't really gotten to the bottom of this as of now. So, in terms of, getting overly excited, I think, we still should be looking out for more and bigger updates, because European Union, as I've stated to you guys before in my market analysis update, as well as China, they're not going anywhere in terms of negotiating. They are actually putting back more in terms of percentage. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. And on top of that, Chinese yuan falls to the lowest level in 2 years. Very, very crazy things happening globally right now. So if you're looking at, Bitcoin dominance right now, again, I want to show you guys the Bitcoin dominance on the hourly time frame. Even though we did see the dominance going down from, April 7th, you're still looking at dominance still quite high in a grand scheme of things. But if you're looking at BTC right now, Bitcoin has seen a little bit of a bounce. Of course, we did retest the 0.50 fib zone support line yesterday. Still haven't really managed to, get down to the 73.5. Very, very important level, because if we drop below that, we are entering pre-Donald Trump levels, which of course, is something that will indicate that, all the gains, we did see the market making after Donald Trump got elected as president will be wiped out. But, we did see a little bit of a bounce. Of course, as of now, we are seeing the, price wanting to make its way towards the upside. But again, I just want you guys to kind of look at it from a realistic standpoint. What have we seen in the past, when these types of announcements have come out? And, when you do hear about like pauses eventually occurring, you do see the market bouncing. But, we did see market making its way back towards the downside. So in a grand scheme of things, there's a lot of other factors you need to be looking at. Of course, if you do see a rate cut, I think that would be a major catalyst. But, we need to really come to a resolution in regards to, tariffs, and, have one clear pathway, rather than, being all over the place, which of course, increases the uncertainty. But if you're looking at HBAR, HBAR has made its way back above, and I'll repeat that again. It has made its way back above this key resistance. And at this point, I'm just going to let the, price do the talking, because, this key resistance I've been talking to you guys about for such a long time. And the fact that, we're sitting just above that should really tell you the significance of this range. But also, as I stated earlier in the update, what does this mean really tell us? We are up almost 30% in just the last 24 hours. Let that sink in. HBAR is up almost 30% in the last 24 hours. What does this tell us? This tells us that the demand factor is still there, believe it or not. We have been hearing such big announcements coming out, and the overall other things that we've been seeing happening. The fact that it's part of one of the coins, the blockchain coins that are part of the U.S. Companies, that doesn't change. And the ETF filings, that doesn't change. The massive enterprises that are using Hedera hashgraph, that doesn't change. And those are some factors, and people tend to neglect, when you are seeing a lot of fear across the board. But this move itself should tell you how much demand factor there really is, because Hbar is by far one of the biggest gainers right now. And again, speaks for itself right now. And the fact that, we're back above this key resistance is really, really impressive, in my opinion. It should just give you a little bit of a better understanding, where the demand factor really lies right now. And again, if you are seeing Hbar, maintaining the price above this key support line, great. I don't care if the price consolidates here, for months. If you are a holder, you should be happy about that. But of course, right now, it would be very, very important to hold this support. Obviously, BTC is still on the shaky end of the spectrum, dominance still quite high. Obviously, uncertainty is still quite high right now. So obviously, the chances of us making our way back below it's quite high. But the fact that we have seen this major move towards the upside is a good sign, and really should tell you that people are eyeing Hbar right now. And again, as someone that obviously creates content revolving around crypto, I can see that firsthand. The demand factor, compared to a few years back to now, it has been day and night different. So again, shout out to the Hbar holders. Appreciate you guys as always. Of course, you are seeing some gains right now happening, and I'm sure you guys are excited about that. But we should always be well aware as to what's happening as far as the broader market is concerned, and realistically think that we are still not out of the woods just yet. But let me know down below what you guys think. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? We'll see you later in crypto. ZX and peace out.